Allow me to tell you a story, dear viewers. Once upon a time, there was a killer main who became more and more disillusioned with killer in this video game called Dead by Daylight. And it was for a myriad of reasons, one of which is this. Now, these survivor worms in this match wanted to send me to RPD. But fortunately, said killer main, who is very smart, put up a sacrificial ward. And the game was like, no, you cannot have your sacrificial ward because we'll send you to a map that's arguably even worse than RPD for this character, Oni. And I am not the best with Oni. In fact, Oni's probably one of my weakest killers. But I'm doing this for a daily ritual, because I want to get as many blood points as possible in order to level up my Sadako. So we will not be taking it easy on these little pukes in any way imaginable. I can't stand this map to begin with, but with this killer it's even worse. So that's our little story, and we'll see how this plays out. I wish they had never brought this map back, honestly. I was so happy to see it go when they lost the license. Yeah, new improved scratch marks, by the way, that don't actually tell you where the survivor's going. So in terms of playing this game, I know the Halloween event just came out. I'll have some videos of that in the future. But in terms of playing this game, I've become very disillusioned with Killer. Killer's becoming almost unplayable, thanks to all the handouts that Behavior has given survivors as base mechanics of the game now. They've increased... Yeah, I didn't even get to use my power because of how badly designed this map is. They've increased hook timers by 10 seconds for whatever reason. They've, of course, given survivors borrowed time when they get unhooked. No matter the situation, it could be at endgame and they get a free escape and they still get it. So that's a problem. The UI HUD that gives them free information of what their teammates are doing. If a gen is about to be completed and their teammate gets forced off that generator, they can easily find it and go back on it when the killer is not chasing them. Flashlight saves have been buffed, because why not? They weren't easy enough to begin with. So I've become very, very disillusioned with this game. And it's really a major disappointment because Killer, to me, feels like the only game mode in this game that's actually worth playing. It's the only game mode that gives you any kind of skill expression. You don't need skill expression in Survivor. If you run a perk like Windows of Opportunity, all you have to do is look for the yellow and run to it. And most of the time when you run to those yellow pallets, they are completely safe. So they don't need to have any kind of gameplay to them. They just drop them. You have to kick it. It's extremely boring. And they've also been adding more breakable walls to maps now. Crotus Pren, which is one of the most problematic main buildings in the game for Killer, has had a ton of new breakable walls added for whatever reason. I have no idea why. It's already a strong main building for survivors. It's a huge map. They didn't have to increase the size of the map for 2v8 mode, which should tell them something. It tells them that they need to shrink the map. And the main building, instead of doing that, they made the main building even stronger for survivors. I have no idea why. I swear the devs at Behavior must be on some really strong stuff if they think a main building like that needed strengthening. I still have yet to use my ability because of how badly designed this map is. There, finally. That'll count towards the daily ritual. But not only Crotus Pren, but I've noticed they've added another breakable wall to Blood Lodge, of all maps. So now on the Blood Lodge map, there used to be only one, but now there are two. So you have to break one of those walls. Otherwise, that window at the Blood Lodge is a god window. You're not getting any survivors who vault that window without breaking at least one of those walls. Before, you didn't even have to break a wall. You could have left it up depending on where the window was situated. But now it doesn't matter. You have to break them. At least one of them. I have no idea why they're adding more breakable walls to this game. There should be no breakable walls in the game whatsoever. I really don't care about her. I need to find that Nick Cage. I'm definitely tunneling in this match. There is no incentive whatsoever for me to play nice. And he made a bad mistake by coming up here. Whatever. I'll just ignore her. Now, if you want me to slug you, I will. As I said, they've made it so there's absolutely no incentive to play nice for these survivors. The developers have given them so many handouts, so many freebies. And they wonder why killers tunnel and slug and all that. Maybe we're sick and tired of Behavior showing obvious bias towards one side in this game. There's a bug going around right now where Sadako and her demanifestation timer. Now, in a previous patch note, they said her when she demanifests, there's a flickering, an invisibility duration. And in the patch notes, they said it was going to be buffed to 1.2 seconds. It was 0.7 seconds. Now, if you don't think they're biased, this was like months ago. They still have not buffed it to 1.2 seconds. It's still 0.7. So she's invisible after manifesting for a shorter amount of time. If you don't think they're biased, just listen to this. It didn't take them more than a week or so to fix Dracula's wolf form hug tech. They got rid of that almost immediately. But if it's something that benefits a killer, it's given very low priority. So I have no doubt that Behavior is obviously biased towards survivors in this game. And people say, oh, well, they're the vast majority. They spend all the money. They're the people who play the game the most. I don't care. That doesn't mean you make a game unfair for one side. I'm all about fairness in games. And I would think it would be unfair if they said they were going to buff a certain killer and months later they still haven't done that. Yet when it comes to nerfing killers, they don't waste any time whatsoever. So I don't care if they're the majority. The majority doesn't mean they're right. You have the majority of people jump off a cliff. Does that mean you should follow them? I don't think so. You don't balance games based on who plays the majority role. You balance games for fairness. It's obvious. I mean, as far as I know, killer players spend money too. It's not just survivors who spend money in this game. So I'm pretty sure I satisfied this daily ritual. I hope so, at least. As I said, I am not good with Oni. He is probably one of my weakest killers. I really despise how his power relies on the survivors. It gives survivors plenty of opportunities to deny his power, most effectively through pre-dropping, which is one of the most boring ways to play in this game. But I don't care at this point. I will tunnel everyone out and just win any way I can. There's no more Mr. Nice Guy for me in this game. Especially with the finisher Mori being base kit, there's no reason to give survivors hatch anymore. Yeah, nice try. Pathetic. Did you really think that would work? And I hear the Cheryl. Hopefully she'll stick around the area so I can easily find her. So if worse comes to worse, if they start giving survivors even more buffs at base, which I am sure they will do, because so many whiny crybabies in this community have been complaining about slugging recently. So I'm sure Unbreakable at base is coming soon. I'll just play Survivor. I mean, I won't have to stress out, worry about anything when playing Survivor. I mean, good luck finding killer players if they give survivors Unbreakable at base. But everybody and their brother has to complain about slugging when they don't understand why killers do it. I will explain in an upcoming video for sure. So stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed our little story time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to hear more.